Welcome back everybody, my name is Dragagon, and this is Gregtech New Horizons. So it has been a fair bit since I last did a video. I had been working on my plants over there, and I kind of burned myself out. I was trying to breed them and trying to get stuff done. Over the last couple of weeks, I finally got back into the game and finally cleaned up my breeding area, my crossbreeding area. And if we take a quick run over here, we're also away from the noise of all of those extractors working on my benzene setup. Underneath on this bottom floor, I have 24 red wheat plants to get me redstone and wheat. The wheat I don't use as much, but definitely the redstone. Here I have one single nightly oreberry bush that provides me with the nightly oreberries. I don't use that a whole lot, so I don't have anything more than the one plant there. If we jump up here, however, you will see I have filled this thing out. I finally went and got all the dirt necessary in order to finish putting together this top half. I want to say when I had it stopped last it was right along this edge, but I didn't plant any further than I didn't even have those plants. I had a few of these plants in here, and that was it. If I go over my layout, I've got 25s of most of the plants. You can see here I've got Fertilia, I have Faru, I have Copon, I have the Cyprium, I have Enderbloom, Tine, let's see here, what else is there? Stagnium, Shining, I have Nickelback. I have 75 of these tier stocks in 3 different groups of 25, mainly because there's a water, and then down on the next floor there is the pillars that reach up so that it can harvest this second floor. And so since I can't put ore underneath where the pillars are, and I can't put ore where the water spots are, I just used the tier stocks for that. Here I have God of Thunder, Galvania, Sephirum, Platina, Aurelia, and Boxia. And then on the side wings, I have one-offs of stuff that I have. Here I've actually got 2 glowing earth coral because they grow pretty fast, but I can use them to extract glowstone. I have my dye plants, so I've got rose, I've got dandelion, I've got cactus for green, indigo for blue, and then over here I have dandelion, there's tulip, I have one Bob's Your Uncle plant, I have one dire reed for diamonds, I have some flax, I have some creeper weed, I have some cotton, wither reed, blaze reed, again, things I don't use an awful lot of that I can just let sit here and rack up stuff. My witchery plants, here I have live root and steel franks, and then right there is corium for getting leather. And then over here on the other side I have a series of the spruce bonsai trees because they just get me spruce saplings and spruce wood is what fuels that benzene setup over there. Then I have cinder pearls, I have shimmerleaf, I have glintweed, I have ember moss. There's blackthorn for getting the squid ink, for black ink. And that's pretty much all I focused on, was getting so many of these stinking plants up and running, trying to babysit them over there in the little nursery and whatnot. Down here, nothing new. And then there's the farm and the stuff that runs out of it. So yeah, it's a pretty decent setup. This thing pulls it out pretty quick. Every once in a while it does get stuck, so I do keep an eye on that. I'm going to switch the setup around. If I drop down one more level here, ooh, that's close. Good thing I have that copter pack. That could have hurt. If I come down here, you can see it pulls out from, it pulls out from one of the spots right there, and just drags them on down. And then it also has a one of those stock keeper chips in order to keep 5 fertilizer in there at all times. What I'm looking at doing is I'm looking at having an Ender IO conduit here, put a pair of a pair of chests there and have this thing extract out, and then stick the extractor that's currently in this one into another one here. And once I do that, it can pull out from the chest, and that way the Ender IO pipe will pump it up, and then this thing will keep it going into my system. The issue that arises is you can see how many items get sucked out of here. If the if that box gets full and it has something waiting in its inventory, for whatever reason, the redstone, or the not redstone, the Project Red pipes think that this thing is not done yet, and because it's not done and the inventory isn't stable, it just stops completely. And so then I have plants that are growing, and then because this thing is stopped up full, it's not getting fertilizer, it's not getting water, and I run the risk of losing my plants due to high stats with poor nutrients and poor hydration and all that stuff. So looking at changing up that setup just so I can do that. If I come over here, I have 3 columns of 5. So I have 15 2x2s here that are absolutely filled, and each of them has, I have to do that with an empty hand. Each of them has a void upgrade in there. I'm working on 11 more void upgrades in this thing so that I can set up another 2 sets here, get all of those guys done, and then hit one of these down here. And that will complete what I believe will be all of my automated resources out of the farm. I'm going to have several plants that are just ones. This bottom area is going to be dedicated to oil berries and transformium, on top of, every so often having something like a gold oreberry bush, or like the nightly oreberry bush, or in the case of red wheat, it has to be dark, which is why I chose the spot that I did. With the way the glowstone plates are sitting on top of the water, that area is dark enough that they grow without an issue. So that is handy. Now, I have a ton of stuff sitting here in my inventory, and that is because I wanted to take a little bit of time today, and I wanted to try and knock out that Builder's Wand. And the Builder's Wand needs a whole bunch of stuff. It needs 16 of the laboratory blocks. Let's see here. It needs... I'm going to need... Nope, not anti-blocks. Let's do the feathers. There's 16 of the Holy Stone. And if I come in here, I can start to detect and submit those guys. So I'm going to go through each of these things in order to take care of this. Oops, I forgot this over here. Those guys. My mouse still likes to jerk all over the place on me, which is not pleasant. So there we go. There's those. Let's see here. What else? Brimstone. There's the coal. So let's do that. 1, 2. So there's Grimstone. There we go. Get those guys submitted. The hex plating needs my blocks of coal. So let's go ahead and get those guys in there while it's doing its thing. Let's see. The purple fantasy block, yeah, that's just those. So we'll put that. 2, 3, 4. You actually need 4 of these. You need to make the full 32, and that's because half of them will go towards making, not that, there we are, the fantasy blocks. So there we go. Let's go ahead and detect submit those. Factory block. 1, 2, oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Factory block is done. Technical block. That needs 5 with the 4 iron around it, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. those guys done. The warning sign, yes. There's 4 of those, and of course, that, and I'm going to need more stone. So one of the other things I did that I didn't know existed was I built one of these guys. The basic rock breaker. This thing is fantastic because if you put lava above it with water, and I've got water in this under this block right here, it'll make flat stone, which is, I think, fantastic because the flat stone, I can then just come over here and grab out stacks of stone. That will be perfect for me making the rest of this base, because as you can see right now, it's kind of a disaster. It's all over the place with not having any of those, anything up anywhere, really. Let's see here. 4 obsidian, 4 stone, and an ender pearl. Oops. Ender pearl. Let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then those guys are the ones that need to have the glowstone for the energized voidstone. Sorry, voidstone, not glowstone. Alright, voidstone, that one. Temple block is blue dye. So there's temple block. Let's see here, I also need one of these and one of those. And we can do the Valentine's blocks as well. There we go. I need 2 buckets of water. What is Tyrian? 8 around a pair of pieces of iron. So that's where my last 2 iron are. And let's come over here and get another chunk. There we go. There is Tyrian. And grab 2 buckets. 2 buckets of water. Not do that, please. Thank you. And here we go. For those 2. Alright, so the only ones I have left really are the concrete and the hex plating, which should be done over here now. Let's grab all 5 of those and both of those. And we can wrap this thing up, except for the concrete. Now the concrete I have set up and ready, except for the water. So I'm going to take care of that once I take a break, get everything I need set up for that. But then we will be all done. So I need the diamond block, I need the emerald block, I need the... Which redstone block does it want? I always forget the redstone. Alright, we'll take that out for now. The lapis block, and the gold block wants the money signs on it. There we go, like that. And then this one wants the ornate redstone tiles. That needs to be the stack heads down. Did I pick heads down? Nope, heads up. So I need the stack heads down and the ornate redstone tiles. So with all of that, there we go. So now the only thing I have left is the concrete itself. So once I get some of the concrete prepped, I'll bring you guys back in here and we'll have the builder's wand, and then I can actually take a look at using those stones to start filling in more of this base. Alright, so I fiddled around with some stuff. Ended up taking a medium voltage fluid tank, putting it up here, putting some water in it, and then using these liquid translocators to put it into here. And now with that stuff in there, I can go ahead and make this chunk of wet concrete, which is now going to be over there. Go ahead and take my program circuit 2, put it back in my assembler where I normally keep it. And then let's grab my dolly. And I need this to go into a fluid solidifier. And that's going to be a little bit of a pain. So we'll do it this way. I'll put that there. Take my wrench, get the face of it there, and then slap the translocators. It's got a plate right now. Let's see. There it is. There's my extruder shape block. Hit that on. And that's the wrong extruder shape for a block. It looks like I don't think I have that other shape. The actual block mold, I think. This is an extruder shape. That's a mold. Okay, so let's take a look at the concrete. I didn't think this very well. Let's see here. A block mold. You'd have a block casing and molten steel in that thing. Okay. A file and a hammer and a blank cast. I doubt I have any of that stuff ready at all. No. Alright. I am going to have to cut away. I'm going to gather up a little bit of steel. I'm going to go back to the old base where I believe I still have my smeltery set up. I don't believe I moved that. No, I haven't moved that over here. Hopefully it's still set up over there. Hopefully it still has a little bit of lava in its tank, and I will get that cast made. Alright, coming back in on the base here. As you can see, I do still have my wonderful smeltery set up here, and it does indeed have plenty of lava down in its tank. I've got some glass and some blood. Fantastic. Don't need either of that. There is the aluminum brass ingot that I can pour a cast from, and then I have the 4 pieces of steel that I'll need for that, and then I have my hammer and my file ready to go. So let's just wait for that to cook up. The old base, you can still see our old spruce trees, my maple tree, what is this, olive tree, some of our rubber trees, and the wonderful apple trees that we used for food for a long time. My initial breeding area, trying to get any kind of other trees. My friends planted those in order to get a lot of wood. We also did the Jakarta wood back on this old base. There are some of our old animal traps, which I don't use anymore. And we still have a few things in here. I completely forgot that I had these steam turbines in here, as well as an iron tank full of steam. So I should probably pull up some of this stuff, maybe? I haven't quite decided yet. There's an empty oak drawer from where I was making more of the creosote oil and getting charcoal, which then came over to what was a couple of boilers making a ton of steam. So yeah, old base still has a little bit of stuff. I need to get up there and get that beehive. I am looking at starting bees soon. It is on the list of things that I would like to get done. Alright, aluminum brass is done, so I can quit yammering on here. Let's grab that, place it in here with the file and the hammer. No? Really? It actually wants crafting table for that, huh? I don't think I have one in here anymore. This is not good. Alright, well then, how am I going to do this? I really don't want to run all the way back there. Let's do this then. Let's punch the wood. I think, unfortunately, I am going to have to... do I have a flint? I doubt it. There's some charcoal. Charcoal's not going to help me. Yeah, big bunch of nothing there. Alright, and yeah, I'm not checking the 4th bag. The 4th bag has nothing in it. Oops, just been figuring out what I'm going to do with it. All right, I guess I am going to have to take another quick break. I'm going to have to go back to the base. I totally didn't even think about it requiring that thing. So I'm going to head back to the base and make this cast, and then come back over here and use the right? I can't make a crafting table. Sorry, let me just check this real quick. I think it needs a piece of flint. That's why I'm saying I can't make it. It needs 2 pieces of flint along with some wood. Yeah, so that's not going to happen. All right. Yep, back to the other base. I'll be back in a bit. All right. On my way back, I now have, I don't want to open my inventory because I'll drop like a rock. That would be hilarious, I'm sure. Fall hopefully in the water and not die. But I now have the cast. And the steel is melted up. So I can do this. Put the steel down there. And get this guy poured. And this will finally give me my block mold instead of the block extruder. What is this? Yeah, the block mold. There we go. And of course I needed that for the actual concrete quest, which I hadn't done yet. That would explain why I didn't have one. I found a whole bunch of other stuff. I found gears, I found plates, I found a couple of different things. There's my plate mold there. I'm talking about the casings, I guess, really. Not plates, but the casings. So I really quickly got that stuff squared away. Let's cut through the trees this time. Sometimes I cut through the trees, sometimes I I try and go around them. These the vines hanging off these trees hit your glider and make you basically drop like a rock. I mean, not completely drop, but it's not conducive to falling that way or to getting where you want to be. There we go. And we'll just zoom right along. So here you can see I cleared out a ton of dirt in order to fill up that farm up above. It was quite a bit of work. I actually used the... It turns out I did have stuff in here. I have my farming stuff and a few other things. I was using my spade. I thought it was empty. I don't know why I thought my bag was empty. As soon as I opened it up, it's like, oh, yeah, my farming stuff. But I used the spade on all of that rather than a shovel, since a spade can't be broken, and it's fairly quick to cut through grass and dirt, so that was a thing. But now I have that. Now, that was part of a quest. Where is that quest? Ah, there it is. Oh, but it wants you to get a whole bunch of other stuff, so I would need marble cobblestone, marble dust, make all of that stuff to get it prepped, and then start the block mold. I may go do that after a little while. This I basically did just so that I could get that, hit this guy, grab the concrete, and now I can come down here to grind or not to grind, turn that one in, and there we go. Now I have my lucky builder's wand. So now I can go in here and I can grab all of the stone that I want, and I can start building out some more of this base in stone. I could even, because I do have the stone, I can even start looking at making some, what's the other thing I can make? I can start making like laboratory block and whatnot, and some of those decorative blocks that they have you build in order to get the builder's wand, and then in doing that I can start to lay out an actual base. I would like to start a dedicated automation area. I know some of you in the comments on the last video said that you think I automate a little bit too much too soon. That's the way I like to play. Uh, what I am hoping to do is I am hoping to automate oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen because those three are nice and easy. You saw the 75 tier stocks, so I can also automate a saltwater setup, and that will get me chlorine, which will be nice. And then the last thing is, since I'm working on these guys right in here, let's see, oops, let's get that guy open. Since I'm working on these guys right here, if I can get those upgrades done, void upgrades aren't too pricey, they just are time consuming is all. Once I get those guys done and I add it to that, I am looking at planting a blackstone lily with some black granite underneath it in order to get black granite dust. The black granite dust can be centrifuged in order to get biotite, and then the biotite can be electrolyzed into fluorine, and that will automate a setup for being able to make PTFE. And so those are some of my next things. You probably also saw I've got a stack of LV and a stack of MV chips. Those are going to be going towards an automated LV chip factory, so that I can make LV chips at whim. I can come over here, I can right click on this guy and say I want a stack of LV chips again, and then it can go about the process of automating most of that. I think the couple of the things that I'm not going to automate from that immediately are the extruder for the rods for the vacuum tubes, and an EBF like back there in order to make the red alloy ingots. Both of those I will probably end up putting into the system and then saying go make a set of chips for me that way. This thing is also going to become a probably one of these chests, one of these guys right here. Actually, I could grab that one, slap a void upgrade on it, and then that way I don't have to worry too much about filling this guy up. Right now, it fills up faster than I use it, so what ends up happening is I have to come up here and I wipe out a line or two of spruce wood and I throw it on the ground down there, just to keep it from filling up, because if it fills up that and there's no void upgrade, it starts to fill up the rest of that, and that's something I don't want. I don't want my storage unit full of spruce wood. So, in any case, I'm going to get to work on these void upgrades, and I am going to see about maybe knocking out that other concrete quest real quick, and then taking a look at working towards other things. So we'll see you back here in a bit. Alright, I just looked at the time and saw that this video is running just past 20 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and call this video good here. I did take quite a bit of time, and I've been building up each of the floors on the base, mainly focused over here in this quadrant, what I'm calling the modern quadrant. One of the things I am currently doing is I am going through and I'm making 2 stacks of the integrated logic circuits so that I can upgrade those into the good logic circuits, or the good integrated circuits. I forget which one they're called. And then from there, taking those guys and converting them into a stack of HV circuits. In order to do that, I need quite a bit of platinum. I do enjoy making the SMD diodes as opposed to using a whole lot of gallium arsenide on making the regular diodes, and instead focus on using the gallium arsenide in order to make these logic circuits, and then the logic circuits I can make with the I can use, because I'll need those in the more advanced chips, as well as the random access memory that I don't have any of currently. You see the batteries. I took my miner, went over to the Twilight Forest, and went ahead and started digging up a nickel mine. I am going to need the nickel so that I can get some more platinum out of it. I'm going to end up quadrupling it here in the chemical reactor using the nickelback that I finally grew 25 of, and then we'll keep going from there. Again, these stacks of chips are helping to get me a little bit further along. I am going to start some automating processes. Um, I really would like to automate the 5 gas/fluids that I'll use quite a bit of now that I have everything set up. Those are nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, as well as chlorine and fluorine. The fluorine, of course, coming from black granite. So as I get those things set up, and then the other thing that I want to do is also get set up with the LV chips so that I can just request them through my request pipe. So quite a bit of work ahead of me. You guys will probably see me pick that up in the next video. The HV chips are also going to be going towards making more turbo gas turbines. And then I will probably end up having to move and expand this guy, because this guy can barely feed, I think, one of those, let alone 2 or 3 of them, in order to handle all of these new automated processes. So I will see you all back here in the next video. Till then.